Caves can be quite scary on their own, but the revelations from these discoveries will undoubtedly leave you scared. Just recently, some weird stuff was discovered in the Mammoth Cave, which shocked the world. So in this video, join me as I show you the weirdest things found in caves around the world. Let's get started. Number 1. Prehistoric sharks. Researchers at Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky found fossils of 2 prehistoric shark species. These sharks lived around 323 to 359 million years ago, during a time called the Mississippian period. Even though we know the park for Ice Age animals like mammoths, it used to be underwater back then. One of the shark species they found is called Trogloclododus tremblay. It's not just a new species, but a whole new type of shark we didn't know about before. They named it after Superintendent Barclay Trimble, who found the first one in 2019. These sharks were about 10 to 12 feet long, similar to today's oceanic white-tip sharks. The other species they found is called Glycmanius cariforum. Its discovery tells us that these kinds of sharks existed 50 million years earlier than we thought. They estimate it was about the same size as a lemon shark. Superintendent Trimble said teamwork was important in making these discoveries. It takes a group effort to learn about Mammoth Cave's past. They also shared drawings of what these ancient sharks might have looked like and pictures of the fossils on Instagram. It's amazing to see how these creatures lived so long ago. Number 2. Cave of Crystals. The Naica Cave of Crystals in Mexico is truly extraordinary, but it's not your typical tourist spot. Imagine enormous crystals, some as long as 12 meters and weighing up to 50 tons, growing deep underground. However, there's a big challenge. The conditions inside the cave are incredibly extreme. The temperature and humidity are so high that if you stay there for too long, you could actually suffocate in the air. So how did these gigantic crystals form? It all began millions of years ago when magma rose from deep underground and formed a mountain near Naica, Mexico. The caves below this mountain are filled with hot water rich in minerals. This water provided an ideal environment for crystal growth, especially selenite, a type of gypsum. Gypsum is a mineral composed of calcium sulfate and water molecules. As the temperature in the caves gradually decreased, the water became saturated with calcium and sulfate ions, which are the basic elements of gypsum crystals. Over time, these ions bonded together to create enormous selenite crystals. But here's the catch. Even though the crystals are stunning, the cave is not safe for humans. The hot, humid air inside can cause fluid to accumulate in your lungs, making breathing difficult. That's why visitors can only stay for a short time, even with special cooling equipment. Despite the risks, visiting the Naica Cave of Crystals would be an unforgettable experience. Sadly, the cave is now flooded again, but this means the crystals are safe and back in their natural environment. Number 3. Snotites. Snotites, also known as snoticles, are unique formations found in caves that look like stalactites but have a slimy, mucus-like texture. These formations are actually mats of extremophilic bacteria. In places like the Frasassi Caves in Italy, a large part of these bacterial communities, up to 70%, are made up of a species called Acidithiobacillus thiooxidans. Other microbes, like an archaeon and a bacterium, also exist in smaller numbers within the snotites. These bacteria love extreme conditions and get their energy from chemosynthesis. This means they use volcanic sulfur compounds, such as hydrogen sulfide, as their energy source. When warm water seeps into the cave, the bacteria break down these sulfur compounds, creating sulfuric acid as a byproduct. This acid is super strong, similar to battery acid. Scientists think that the sulfuric acid made by these bacteria might have a big role in cave formation, possibly even more than the carbonic acid produced from carbon dioxide dissolved in water, which is usually seen as the main cause of cave formation. Snotites got noticed when researchers found them in the toxic sulfur cave called Cueva de Villaluz in Tabasco, Mexico. Jim Pisarewicz spotted them first in 1986 and came up with the name Snotites. Since then, scientists have been studying these strange formations to learn more about the extreme environments where they live. The BBC series Wonders of the Solar System had Professor Brian Cox checking out snotites and thinking that similar basic life forms might exist beneath the surface of Mars if there's life on the Red Planet. Number 4. Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls are a collection of ancient Jewish religious texts that were found in the Qumran caves near the Dead Sea. These scrolls are incredibly significant as they offer insights into the religious beliefs and practices of ancient Jewish communities, particularly during the period between the 3rd century BCE and the 1st century CE. Discovered between 1947 and 1956 by Bedouin shepherds and archaeologists, the Dead Sea Scrolls include a variety of documents such as biblical manuscripts, sectarian texts, prayers, legal texts, and other writings. Among these manuscripts are fragments of every book of the Hebrew Bible except for the Book of Esther. The importance of the Dead Sea Scrolls lies not only in their age and preservation, but also in their role in shaping our understanding of early Judaism and Christianity. These texts show various religious and cultural aspects of ancient Jewish communities, including their religious beliefs, practices, social structures, and theological ideas. Scholars continue to study the Dead Sea Scrolls to deepen their understanding of ancient Jewish history, the development of biblical texts, and the context of early Christianity. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls has revolutionized biblical studies and remains one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century. Number 5. The Klerksdorp Spheres. In South Africa's Klerksdorp caves, scientists came across something quite intriguing: perfectly smooth and polished spheres. These discoveries, found within the depths of the caves, have left researchers scratching their heads, wondering how they came to be and what purpose they might have served. Some scientists believe the spheres are natural formations created over millions of years through geological processes like sedimentation and mineral deposition. According to this theory, the spheres would have formed within rocks and gradually became smooth and spherical due to erosion and weathering. But there are alternative theories that suggest a more mysterious origin for the Klerksdorp spheres. Some speculate they could be artifacts of extraterrestrial origin, possibly left behind by ancient civilizations or visitors from outer space. Proponents of this idea point to the sphere's unusual symmetry and precision as evidence of artificial manipulation. Number 6. Wolverine's Skull. Back in 2017, scientists came across something unexpected: the skull of a wolverine in a European cave called the Solna Jama Cave in Poland. Wolverines aren't typically found in Europe, so discovering one there was quite a surprise. This find got scientists thinking that wolverines might have lived in Europe a long time ago, but vanished later on. Today, wolverines are only found in 4 European countries: Russia, Finland, Sweden, and Norway. Apart from that, they have never been seen in any other European country. So it's weird to find a skull of this animal in Poland, because no early records state the presence of wolverines in Poland. Number 7. Altamura Man. Altamura Man, discovered in Italy in 1993, is an amazing find: a 170,000-year-old Neanderthal skeleton. Despite the challenges of fragility, scientists extracted DNA from his shoulder blade, offering insights into ancient Neanderthal genetics. This exceptionally well-preserved skeleton provided valuable clues about Neanderthal anatomy and biology. Altamura Man displayed typical Neanderthal traits, but also unique characteristics, contributing to our understanding of their physical features. Radiocarbon dating placed Altamura Man's age between 130,000 and 170,000 years, placing him in the Middle Pleistocene period. The body, when found, was completely covered in calcite, yet still, it was one of the most complete Paleolithic skeletons ever discovered in Europe. Not just that, reports state that even the bones of the nose were still intact when the body was found. Number 8. Weird structures made by Neanderthals. In a cave in France, scientists found something amazing: structures made by Neanderthals long before modern humans lived in Europe. These structures are built from about 400 stalagmites, which are like rocky spikes that grow up from the cave floor. The Neanderthals made walls with these stalagmites, stacking them up carefully. Some walls are shaped like rings and go down 4 layers deep. The biggest wall is almost 7 meters wide and stands about 40 centimeters tall. Experts like Marie Seresi from Leiden University say this discovery is really special. They've never seen anything like it before. It shows that Neanderthals were pretty clever builders. Some parts of the walls look like they were damaged by fire. The rocky spikes are blackened and broken, suggesting the Neanderthals might have used fireplaces in their constructions, maybe to light up the dark cave. These findings give us a peek into how Neanderthals lived and how they could have been more intelligent than we think they were. Number 9. Buffalo Cave. In Buffalo Cave, Idaho, a very crazy thing happened several decades back. Joseph Henry Loveless was suspected of murdering his wife with an axe, but he managed to escape from jail in 1916 and disappeared without a trace. However, in 1979, something unsettling was discovered. A headless body was found in a cave in Idaho. Over time, more pieces of the puzzle were found, and in 2009, DNA testing confirmed that the body belonged to Loveless. But how he ended up in that cave remains a big mystery. But it's safe to say that murder can't be hidden. Even if it takes a century or more, it'll uncover itself somehow. Number 10. Crystallized human sacrifice. In a cave called Aktun Tunichil Muknal in Belize, archaeologists found an important site that gives us clues about ancient Mayan rituals. They discovered objects used in ceremonies and human bones, suggesting that people were sacrificed here as part of religious rituals. Inside the cave, there are skeletons lying around, along with objects used in ceremonies. One of the most interesting things they found was the Crystal Maiden, a mummy covered in crystals. This shows us how important these rituals were to the people who lived here long ago. The cave dates back to a time between 250 and 909 AD, giving us a window into the culture and beliefs of the ancient Mayans. These findings make it pretty clear that rituals and sacrifices were central to their way of life. But was it really necessary to kill all those people? Number 11. Oldest bow and arrow, Phahien Lena Cave, Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka's Phahien Lena Cave, scientists found something super old, a bow and arrow. It's being considered one of the first ever evidence of archery, dating back 48,000 years. This discovery shows how early humans were pretty smart and could make cool tools to survive. It's a big deal because it challenges what we thought about where technology started. Turns out, ancient folks in South Asia were way ahead of the game. They knew how to use different tools for hunting and stuff way before we thought they could. Number 12. Passages in the Mammoth Cave. Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky just got even bigger. Thanks to a group called the Cave Research Foundation, they found 8 more miles of cave passages, making Mammoth Cave the longest known cave in the world at a massive 420 miles. The Cave Research Foundation, or CRF, is a bunch of volunteers who are crazy about exploring caves. They've been buddies with the park for over 60 years, crawling through tight spaces and climbing around to map out the caves. Without them, Mammoth Cave wouldn't hold the title for being so huge. The park and CRF go way back. Back in 1969, Mammoth Cave became known as the longest cave system with 65 miles of passages. Since then, the CRF gang has been on the lookout, finding new connections between smaller caves and Mammoth Cave, adding up to the enormous length we have today. The CRF team spends loads of time underground, dealing with all sorts of challenges like climbing, crawling, and squeezing through tight spots. But they absolutely love what they do and are proud to help map out the caves for everyone to enjoy. Superintendent Barclay Trimble of the park is super thankful for all the CRF's hard work. He says their efforts make it possible for visitors to have a blast exploring the caves and learning all about them. In 2020, lots of volunteers like the CRF crew pitched in at the park, showing just how much people care about keeping it awesome. And hey, if you want to lend a hand too, there are opportunities available even if you're not a cave expert. Number 13. Extinct bird, New Zealand. In 1987, archaeologists made a discovery in New Zealand. A claw from an extinct moa bird was found. What's really cool is that it still had flesh attached to it, and it's been around for about 3,300 years. Moa birds were these giant, flightless birds that used to roam New Zealand. Some of them were massive, probably as big as 12 feet tall. The fact that the flesh and bone of this ancient bird was so well preserved is pretty amazing. When pictures of the flesh-covered claw hit the internet, it caused a stir, with people comparing it to creatures from sci-fi movies. It's just another reminder of the incredible diversity of life that used to exist on our planet. Number 14. Bones. The Paris catacombs are known for holding millions of skeletons, making it one of the largest bone collections in the world. But there's more to this dark maze than meets the eye. In 2004, French police found something surprising: a secret hideout. Believe it or not, some trespassers had set up camp underground. They didn't just visit for a quick peek. They turned a section of the catacombs into their own personal space. Think about this: an underground amphitheater carved into the rock with seats and all. Nearby, there was a makeshift restaurant and bar, complete with bottles of booze and a kitchen setup. But wait, there's more. These trespassers didn't skimp on creature comforts. They rigged up electricity and even had multiple phone lines down there. It was like a secret world beneath the streets of Paris. Finding all this in a place meant for quiet reflection was quite a shock. But well, that's humans for you. Number 15. The Panxian Dadong Cave. In southern China, there's a cave called Panxian Dadong that made headlines for its huge stash of ancient bones. Bones from over 40 different kinds of big animals, like ancient rhinos and elephant-like creatures, all were scattered inside the cave. But here's the thing: this cave sits way up high, 1,600 feet above sea level, with only a steep cliff leading to its entrance. So how did people from way back manage to haul these massive bones up there? The bones showed signs that ancient humans had something to do with them, like burning and cutting. But how they got them up the cliff is still a big question mark. It's a puzzling mystery that makes you wonder, did our ancestors have some secret way of moving these huge animals around? Or is there something else going on here that we don't know about yet? Number 16. Rainforest. In Vietnam's Son Doong Cave, there's a surprising find. It's the largest cave chamber in the world, and it's so massive that it has its very own rainforest tucked inside. This rainforest, affectionately called the Garden of Eden, is no small patch of moss. It's a full-fledged jungle with towering trees reaching for the cave's ceiling. The discovery of this hidden paradise was quite unexpected, found upon by chance. But it's a reminder of the wonders that nature can create in even the most unlikely places. Number 17. Artifacts in a cave. In 2003, something really cool was found in a cave in Germany called Hohlfels. Basically, just a little bird carving made from mammoth ivory. It's crazy to think that it's around 30,000 years old. This tiny sculpture might be one of the very first bird pictures ever made by humans. Apart from this bird, several sculptures of female body were also found in Hohlfels, and one of them is the Venus of Hohlfels. It's said that it's the oldest possible sculpture of a human body with such details. All of these structures were carved in ivory, and it's believed that the Venus of Hohlfels was the beginning of all of it. Not to mention, this specific sculpture is said to be about 40,000 years old. It's crazy to think that someone was talented enough to do that 40,000 years ago. Number 18. Old jewelry and bones. People have always had a thing for jewelry, and it seems our ancient ancestors were no different. Take Siberia's Denisova Cave, for example. In 2010, archaeologists stumbled upon something groundbreaking: the pinky bone of a Denisovan, a previously unknown group of human ancestors. What makes this discovery even more intriguing is that this particular Denisovan individual was the offspring of a Denisovan mother and a Neanderthal father, making them the first known human hybrid. Over the years, excavations at the cave have unearthed a treasure trove of insights into the lives of ancient humans. Among the most stunning finds, jewelry that dates back a whopping 45,000 years. The jewelry includes a variety of pieces, each more captivating than the last. There's a stone bracelet made from chloritolite, a white marble bracelet, and even pins crafted from the sharpened bones of a marmot. But perhaps the most remarkable find is a broken ring that was transformed into a pendant, showcasing its significance and value to its ancient owner. While it's unclear exactly who crafted and wore these exquisite pieces, experts believe the craftsmanship points to the enigmatic Denisovans. These discoveries offer a glimpse into the creative spirit and sophisticated skills of our ancient ancestors, reminding us that the desire for beauty and self-expression transcends time and culture. Number 19. 17 miniature coffins. In 1836, a group of curious boys exploring Arthur's Seat in Scotland stumbled upon a mysterious cave, and what they found inside remains one of the nation's most crazy mysteries to this day. Behind a makeshift barrier of slate, the boys discovered 17 miniature coffins containing intricately dressed figures. It was a chilling sight, sparking wild speculation in the newspapers about witchcraft, demonology, and black magic. However, some proposed a less fantastical explanation. Perhaps the coffins were representing friends lost at sea or in distant lands, and the dolls were given a solemn farewell in their absence. It's a touching thought, but the truth behind the strange discovery may be far darker. Today, it's believed that the coffins were crafted and buried as a tribute to the victims of notorious body snatchers William Burke and William Hare. These two men infamously sold corpses to anatomy schools, and it's speculated that the 17 coffins were a somber memorial to their victims. Yet despite these theories, many questions remain unanswered. Who made the coffins, and why? Was it truly a tribute to Burke and Hare's victims, or is there another explanation waiting to be uncovered? Number 20. An 11,000-year-old mine. In 2017, two brave divers took on the challenge of exploring underwater caves beneath the Yucatan Peninsula. What they found was mind-blowing, a hidden mine that dated back 11,000 years. This ancient mine wasn't for gold or diamonds, it was all about ochre, a bright red pigment used by ancient folks for everything from painting caves to keeping bugs at bay. As the divers went deeper, they found traces of fires, tools, and even rock piles left by miners to find their way around. What's really cool is that the ochre found in the mine wasn't just any old pigment. It was super high-quality stuff. And because it was sourced from deep within the cave, archaeologists think it had some serious spiritual significance, maybe even tying into beliefs about the underworld. This discovery isn't just about ancient mining techniques, it's about how our ancestors saw the world and their connection to it. Who knew a little red pigment could reveal so much about our past? Thanks for joining me on this journey through some incredible discoveries inside the caves around the world. If you found these stories interesting, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more amazing content. Until next time, keep on exploring.